If you ask me what is the most important thing that I have learned about being a Haudenosaunee, it's the idea that we are connected to a community, but a community that transcends time. We're connected to the first Indians who walked on this earth. The very first ones, however long ago that was. But we're also connected to those Indians who aren't even born yet, who are going to walk on this earth. And our job in the middle is to bridge that gap. You take the inheritance from the past, you add to it your ideas and your thinking, and you bundle it up and shoot it into the future. And there is a different kind of responsibility. This is not just about me, my pride, my ego. It's about all that other stuff. We inherit a duty. We inherit a responsibility. Don't just come in here expecting to benefit. You come here to work hard so that the future can enjoy that benefit. And Oren Lyons, who is from the Onondaga, I actually practiced these. Onondaga, thank you. Great, I just had my accent wrong. Onondaga. From the Onondaga Nation, says this: the peacemaker taught us about the 7 generations. He said that when you sit in council for the welfare of the people, you must not think of yourself or of your family, not even of your generation. He said, make your decisions on behalf of the 7 generations coming, so that they may enjoy what you have today.
We are all in this together. We are all in this together. We are all in this together. And together, hand in hand, we are all in this together. We are all in this together. We are all in this together. And together we will stand. We will stand. Together we will stand. Together we are all in this together. And together we will stand. We will stand. Together we will stand. Together we are all in this together, and together we will stand. We are singing out our story. We are bound for glory. We are singing out our story. Together hand in hand. We are singing out our story, 'cause all are bound for glory. We are singing out our story, and together we will stand. We will stand. Together we will stand. Together we are all in this together, and together we will stand. We will stand. Together we will stand. Together we are all in this together, and together we will stand. We are holding up each other, every sister, every brother. We are holding up each other, together hand in hand. We are holding up each other. We are sisters, we are brothers. We are holding up each other, and together we will stand. We will stand. Together we will stand. Together we are all in this together, and together we will stand. We will stand. Together we will stand. Together we are all in this together, and together we will stand. We will stand. Together we will stand. Together we are all in this together, and together we will stand. We will stand. Together we will stand. Together we are all in this together, and together we will stand. Good job.
This is from the Parliament of the World Religions, which I attended about a month ago. And I just want to say that we are here now, in this moment, on this bridge between our ancestors and our descendants. And our world was made by those who came before us, but our world is not their world. Our world is calling us, even demanding from us that we find a better way to live on this earth together. So, with that in mind, let's see what they're doing at the Parliament, shall we?
Religion is a way to relate to what is fundamentally a mystery.
Can you hear?
In a lot of ways, that great mystery is the great equalizer. No matter who we are, how much money we have, how famous we may be, in the end, we're all still ultimately face to face with the unknown.
See, the core of religion is that everything is created from one. There's the same light in everybody. Everybody has good, everybody has bad. There's no such thing as good wrong. There's no such thing as bad wrong.
I was away from church for a long time in my life. For several Sundays when I came back, I found myself weeping as almost a newcomer to this place where people were gathered to try to be good, there to try to support each other and be good. And just that simple fact was incredible. Still is.
I truly believe religion at its core is that inner peace one feels, to have true serenity, to be satisfied with what life gives you, yet at the same time willing to stand up for the injustices that one sees. When you have that inner peace, you're willing to extend that out to the circles that are around you and have this beautiful ripple effect.
What the Parliament tries to do is to convene us so that we can learn that about one another and discover in that learning the possibilities for building a new world, a different world, a better world.
The power to convene is the power, I think, to sit together, the power to know each other, the power in which issues become people and then it becomes a whole lot more complicated.
You think your way of being in the world is the way to be in the world, and that person that you know, oh no it isn't, I have a way too. And it's kind of like that when you get different religions in the room, that you are enriched by that difference and challenged by that difference, and I think both of them.
When you have religions that have historically been at war with each other for centuries, and yet leaders and members, practitioners of those religions can put aside their differences and find the common ground and can actually not just sit at the same table, but actually get off the table and work together for the benefit of the world.
To bring the humanity together, to bring harmony, to bring compassion.
To spread that notion that we are all citizens of one earthly home.
And that is the only concept, the only reality that's big enough to guide human living is a sense of relationship.
It's my hope that what you see in the video is religions changing. And religions at their best. Religions get a bad rap. And that we're becoming more and more aware of that all the time. That cultures, people have used religion in bad and destructive ways. But it's not the religion, necessarily. There's good in every religion, and that's part of what will bring the healing to our world. And that was made abundantly apparent at the Parliament of World Religions. So I like this chalice this morning for all of those who have taken courage to go beyond old ways of separation and to take action that builds human understanding and compassion for all people, as they were saying in this video. Compassion for all people, for truly, now more than ever, we are one.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its calling. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
So this is all about exploring who we are. And where do we come from, right? So I am Dana Lightsey, the daughter of Juanita and Travis Lightsey, and the granddaughter of Gwen and S.L. Lightsey and Paul and Mildred Bates, in case you thought I made my name up. Consider what you have brought from your ancestors that you cherish into your life. And consider also all the things that maybe you've decided you don't want to live your life quite like your ancestors did. And you've decided to learn how to slide and have a hop in your slide. Or maybe you have a little slide in your hop. Whatever it is, every generation, we look at the previous generation and we decide what of that is worthy to bring forward, and what of that is it time for there to be a change. Thanksgiving is in a few days, and we're going to eat lots of good food and gather with family and friends to celebrate all of the good things in life, and to remember what the Native Americans, that the Native Americans welcomed our European ancestors to the New World. Some of us may have Native American blood in us as well. But that great moment didn't last. The European ancestors of this country thought differently than we do now, wouldn't you say? And thank goodness for that. There's another thing to be thankful for. They came from a time and from a place that believed that white Christian people deserved to be the rulers of the earth and even the rulers of any other people who were not like them. So instead of developing a respectful friendship with the Native American Indians, they treated them very badly. But does that mean that they were all bad? No. Does that mean that their religion was all bad? No. It means that we bring forward that which is good out of every generation. And our ancestors as Unitarian Universalists focus on doing exactly that. We have a long tradition of looking at the world and saying, you know, this piece right here is not working, and we're going to work to heal it and to bring it into a larger wholeness. And those pieces that aren't working, that we see again and again, are the suffering of others, the oppression of others, the mistreatment of others. And that's the heritage that you and I live with in this denomination. In the story, Little Frog and Little Snake, did it make you sad when they were not allowed to play together anymore? Because they were different from each other? Well, some of us, perhaps many of us on the older side of the spectrum, grew up with people telling us, no, I'm sorry, but you are not allowed to have that particular friend. No, I'm sorry, but you are not allowed to be a part of that group because it's not who we are. Right? Can anybody relate to that? Anybody experience that? I'm not making up stories here. Well, maybe I am, but... And we, throughout time, have worked within ourselves to deprogram the prejudice that our parents gave to us, that our ancestors passed on to us. And it is our work to do to continue deprogramming that to pass it on to the next 7 generations so that they do not have to carry that with them. So we have a lot to be thankful for. And the work of our ancestors made our world a better world. But we are not done. It is our turn to think about our 7 generations. But to do this, we must change our own thinking and the way that we act. Each generation must look at the previous generations and decide what fits. So, at the Parliament of the World Religions, one of the things that has been abundantly clear is that it does not work to be entrenched in a particular way of thinking that my way of thinking is right and everyone else is wrong. Now, I would venture to say that pretty much every religion has been down that path. But we are seeing a new world and a new way. And I would like to let you know that the Parliament of World Religions was started in 1893 with that perspective. That seems very new to us today. And it was started by Unitarians and Universalists working with people from all over the world, spiritual leaders from all over the world. That is some ancestors we can be proud of. I think that's pretty cool myself. But the sad part is, it didn't happen again until 1993, because it was ahead of its time. And yet our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors have continued to find ways to work with other faith traditions and to work together. They came together before we were a denomination of both Unitarians and Universalists. They came together at the beginning of World War II to help thousands of refugees escape concentration camps. Did you know that? They funneled people out, and we had secret, not email, we had secret mailing, and we had secret symbols, and we had secret signs, and all kinds of different things to try to slide people out underneath Hitler's watch. This was the beginning of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, who works very hard to save lives and to help people all over the world. The UUSC, Unitarian Universalist Service Committee is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. That's amazing. And this morning's offering will go to support the work of the UUSC. If you could invite anyone in the world who needs help, any kind of help, who needs something, who would you invite to dinner? If you could invite anyone, who would you invite to dinner? Who would you feed and clothe and take care of? Just think about that for a moment. Maybe draw a picture of it. Write it down. The money that you give today will help that person and so many others. We have a short video about the work of the UUSC and all the people around the world who are touched by the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. So, once again, we'll have to try to listen to the sound. And today, with all that life brings, may we continue to rest in gratitude for the beauty and the wonder of life. And may we be renewed by all that is good, now and always. Amen. The thing that I love about that story of the frog and the snake, you guys were great frogs and snakes, by the way. What I really love is how it demonstrates learning from one another and connecting with one another. And when I reflect back on our story of the Native Americans and the Europeans coming together for the first Thanksgiving, and our history since that time. The thinking that we had back in those days would not allow us to learn from each other. And we have grown and we have changed over time from our ancestors that worked to enlighten us and to get us to look beyond old ways. And now, how many of you have an electronic device? You might even be looking at it right now. Taking notes, I'm sure. How many of you know people in other countries? How many of you communicate with people in other countries, maybe on a regular basis? Yeah. How many of you have ever visited people outside of the United States? Have ever been outside the United States? Okay. Our world is getting more connected all the time. We can be influenced by any faith tradition, by any group of people all over the world. Just look it up on Wikipedia, right? Or just tons of great information and great resources and connection. The key is, how does our world change to adapt to this? And when I was at the Parliament of World Religions, it was the entire 5 days was an amazing experience of about 10,000 people from all over the world coming together to share ideas. Nobody was saying my religion's right and you're wrong. We're saying we have to come together in our interfaith effort to save this world, to save this planet. And we have to save this planet from climate change. And we cannot address climate change without addressing terrorism. And we cannot address terrorism without addressing the inequality of our world. To see the Grand Imam from the mosque, from the Grand Mosque in Mecca, you know, the one with the big black box? He's one of the most important leaders in the Islamic world. To see him standing in front of us and talking about how we must come to grips with the root causes of terrorism and to start to heal those root causes of terrorism, and that will help us heal climate change. And then to hear someone representing the Pope saying exactly the same things and saying that we have to come together as one people to stand up for each other and care for one another. Person after person after person, spiritual leader from around the world after leader, Nobel Peace Prize winners. You know, when I went to the Parliament, I thought, great, I want to hear something new. I want to hear something different. I'm excited to hear something new and different. And that's not what happened. What happened was, everyone kept saying the same things. Our religions teach us to be good people, and we must start to live into being the good people our religions teach us to be. There's the golden rule, and there's the platinum rule. And the platinum rule is to treat others how they would wish to be treated. And we cannot know that unless we get to know them, just like the frog and the snake got to know each other. And now we have the gift, with all of our connectivity in the world, to get to know each other. Do we push them away? Do we label them other? Do we hate them because they're different? Or do we start to deprogram all of that within us and start to build a connection that will heal the world? That's where we're at, my friends. Now, We're awfully nice in this church. We're full of very nice people here. And being nice is a wonderful thing, unless it gets in the way of us doing what's right. Being nice at the expense of standing up for what is wrong in the world is not what our religion is, and it's not what our religion calls us to do. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people. Other religions refer to us as the love people, because we stand on the side of love. We wear yellow t-shirts wherever we go. Do you have yours? And we learn to stand with people who need our help. My friends, it's time that we begin to stand with others from this church and let go of our fear that we're going to upset someone, or someone might not be happy with us. I can guarantee you that will be the case. And we need to embrace that with our courage to do what's right. Just as the snake and the frog learn from each other. Maybe if we write that story a little bit further, that on down the road, when they became young adults, they said, hey, I remember you. Yeah, I remember you too. You still got that slither hop thing going on? Yeah. And they became friends again. And they began to change the path of their ancestors, what they had inherited, to make a better and whole world for their descendants. That's where we are, my friends. And the message from the Parliament is that this is urgent and it has to happen now. And we are all in this together. So, with that, we're going to sing a song you've never sung before. And it's called Peace, Salam, Shalom. And it's written by Emma's Revolution. Emma's Revolution are two women, Pat and Sandy, and they travel all over the world. And they have sung this in Jerusalem. They have sung this in all the places that are hurting the most in the world. So if you really feel like it's time to bring peace to our world, in whatever way that means, may they show us the path. And may we walk together as we grow in our courage to make a difference in this world. Because our world needs us today and always. I invite you to share with me in saying our affirmation. Nurtured by this community, inspired by all that we share, may our actions carry this love forward into our lives and into the world every day. May we make it so. Amen.